Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the hashtag TFR
Motivation
Monday
Monday.
Zoom. We are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles, and we are
Yes.
extremely excited to bring another powerhouse special guest to you tonight. But before we get into her information, we want to share with you some stuff and bring you up to speed and give you some constant reminders, because a lot of times repetition is critically important, and this is no different. So bring us up to speed, Marcy.
So by the way, we love it when you guys are able to hop on here with us live, but we also know that life is busy, right?
Yes.
And so you might be, like us and want to go back and watch this over and over again, or you just might not have been able to be on here live. Well, we've got you covered. Just make sure you go and subscribe to Team Freedom Reigns on YouTube. I almost said the YouTube.
YouTube.
Like the Ohio State, right? On YouTube. And make sure that after you subscribe that you don't just stop there. You want to make sure you also click that bell so that you get notified when we upload new content every single week. It's just a really easy way for you to stay plugged in.
Yes. And this is super important, compliance. So just so you make sure you are saying the right thing, and if you haven't gone into your back office and watched this 9-minute video, please do. Make it priority one so you make sure that you are keeping yourself compliant, and anything that you share is also compliant. And why do we say this? Because literally just last week, the Direct Selling Association sent out warning letters to multiple companies within our network marketing space with multiple violations and gave them 7 days to clean up their act. Well, what were these violations? Three violations from every company mentioned, and there were numerous. They were all Facebook posts. And they gave the challenge, you must get these down within 7 days, and no company previously had ever been able to do that. Well, do you want to know how important compliance is to LifeVantage? We had all 3 posts down in less than 24 hours when no company previously had ever gotten them taken down within 7 days of communicating with their distributors. It's so important that the company protects itself by first protecting you. And so if you are keeping your post compliant and you understand what compliance is, we want to make sure your business is protected, your legacy is protected, and as a result, this sacred gift we've been given at LifeVantage is also protected. So if you haven't watched that video, please do so.
Yeah, and I just want to drive this home just a little bit more, because what would have happened if we had not gotten those down within that 7-day time period?
Yes, good point.
Yeah, it would have been huge, because the thing is the DSA was giving us an opportunity to take care of it on our end. And this is part of how we take care of that, is by educating every single one of us that is sharing this information. But if we had not gotten them taken down, what would have happened next? We would have had those violations reported to the FTC, and we would have and the FDA, and we would have received those big notorious warning letters that could have some really big consequences. So yay for us for getting them down, but hey, even bigger yay is that we are taking ownership of the longevity of LifeVantage and our futures in this business by making sure that we're educated on compliance. So please go watch this video as soon as possible.
One last point on this, and I just want to make sure that you understand too that the Direct Selling Association, the DSA, has all of our best interest in mind, which is why they're letting us know first that these are in violation. Our search engines found these violations. Please clean them up within 7 days so that we don't have to report them, because they are a mandatory reporting agency. If they find violations and they're not taken down with ample warning, then they must forward those violations on to the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, and the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. But the DSA is absolutely looking out for this industry. So LifeVantage is, and we were the only company that I know that had been previously the only company to get them down within 24 hours.
Yep. Great job.
Yes.
All right, guys, talking about the I.T.T. system, this is such a phenomenal tool that LifeVantage is rolling out for us. We've had just parts of it come out. I have heard whispers that amazing overview, the LifeVantage opportunity overview they've been using on Tuesdays, just might be available for us this coming week. So I'm hoping that we all get our hands on that, right? But your I.T.T., it's the invite. The first touch tool that we use here is biohackingaging.com, where you'll find the videos on our amazing products and science. And then the step 2 is the LV overview, LifeVantage overview, or LVO as we like to call it. And we have so many for you to be able to invite to, including the one that LifeVantage has been offering every Tuesday night for ages now. Tuesday night on Zoom, and tomorrow night you're going to have Master Pro 10 Skip Campbell presenting this amazing LifeVantage opportunity. So make sure that you check the Facebook pages, your email, all of the details will be there, as well well as you can take a screenshot of this page. So you've
Yes,
got
do it.
the webinar ID information as well. And then there's
LVOs, we do them every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, with this week as an exception because Marcy and I will both be, and Dr. McKee as well, will be part of the Tony Robbins UPW, which is Unleash the Power Within virtual, first ever virtual event, which is going to be in 170 countries, participants from 170 countries. So just tomorrow, this week, Thursday and Saturdays we will not be doing them live, but you can utilize the lvwebinar.com, which has been a previously recorded one from very recently. So utilize that until we resume the 3 per week of next week.
And I love watch parties. They're really powerful.
Yes.
So you can go to the Possibilities from Home Facebook page, and every single one of the ones that we've done are on there. You can pick and choose which one you want to use and utilize it as a watch party. Your prospects will think it's live, and you'll get all of their comments directly to you for you to be able to follow up with. It's an amazing tool. If you don't know how to use it, make sure that you ask someone that maybe might know just a little bit more about it. Maybe one of us. So
hint, hint. Success Mastery. Every Saturday since March, the company has been going all out with 90 minutes of hardcore training from the top leaders in the field, teaching you how they became top leaders in the field. From the product training, which has been unbelievable every single week since, like I said, since March, and then the success interviews, somebody who's actually been at least an Elite Pro 7, working their way up to the Master Pro 10 ranks and beyond, skills, and then a call to action by a very, very powerful leader in this company, giving us some insights on what to do with the information that we just learned. It's every Saturday for 90 minutes, and it is absolutely top-notch training.
Yeah, so if you're taking complete ownership of your business, make sure this time period is blocked out. And by the way, guys, I believe this Saturday is also LVAs. So if you attend LVAs, make sure that you are there for that. These are always recorded so that you can make sure that you get the best of both of these amazing training platforms. Global convention is going to be virtual, which means if you didn't think you were going to be able to make it to global, there's no excuses now. As a matter of fact, LifeVantage is paying you basically to attend. Everything that you see here on this page is going to be yours. Just by registering and paying the $199 to pre-register, you're actually going to be getting a gift box that's valued over $300 direct to your door. And there's going to be a donation to LifeVantage Legacy in your name. And you're going to get a commemorative bracelet for that donation. So guys, I'm telling you, make sure that you go and get pre-registered, and you're actually going to have access to this whole event. This is something that we've never had before. If you haven't been there, you just haven't been able to see it. Here, you're going to be able to see it and watch it over and over again for 30 days afterwards. So make sure you go and get pre-registered.
And if you've already registered when it was still happening in Las Vegas, and that's when those were under the terms that you were registered, you don't need to re-register. You've already registered. It will carry over.
Yep, you're covered. So yeah, this is what I'm so excited about tonight, guys. So this is our special guest here. She is amazing, this woman. So one of the things that I've noticed about her in the time that I've known her is that this woman, with all of her accolades that I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit on here in just a second, she is a student. First and foremost, she is willing to see what needs to be changed, pivot, and do it, right? Learn from the best and just become better in herself. So Elite Pro 8, Shaun McKee, the Vitality MD, she's actually a board certified neuroradiologist. She's a two-time 140.6 mile Ironman triathlete and ultra marathoner. She's married to a gastroenterologist, and she's a mom of 2 sons in college. And we are so stoked. That was like 4 stokes or 4 so's.
Super stoked.
Yes, super excited to have Dr. Shaun McKee being here to share her story, why she's so excited about LifeVantage, and how she is personally utilizing the I.T.T. system to grow her business. So is there anything else you want to add in before we just invite
Just
Dr.
get
Shaun?
ready to take some notes, because you are going to be hearing from a high profile, powerful leader in many different circles, and she's going to be sharing an amazing story with you guys. But we are incredibly blessed to have her as part of the LifeVantage family and our medical advisory board here at LifeVantage. So Dr. McKee, please join us, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited to be here. Thank you guys. You are some of my favorite leaders in LifeVantage, and I've been following you since I was just a wee distributor. I met both of you on a cruise in the Caribbean when I first started out. I was on fire. Of course, I was totally not duplicatable. I made it to Pro 5 in a month, like my upline. So he duplicated himself accidentally. But then, of course, because I kind of bulldozed everyone into it, they were like, they felt like they already knew everything, and they never actually, looked at what we had. They just got in because I said, it's amazing, you need to do this. And you can do that, but you have to follow it up with the system, which we're going to talk to you about tonight. So I'd love to tell my story about how in the world I got involved in this crazy industry of network marketing, and how I fell in love with it, and how I fell in love with most specifically LifeVantage. And that is about 10 years ago. I was exhausted. I was, as I used to say, I like to say, burning the candle at all 12 ends. I was, as Marcy said, ultra marathoner, Ironman triathlete, did CrossFit. I did all these things kind of from 6 to 8 in the morning, and then I would go and work in my regular job, and then I would go home and be there for the family. And then suddenly I found myself just unable to stay awake in the evening. I wonder why, but I didn't like it. I was used to being the Energizer Bunny, and I knew something was wrong. And my husband sweetly suggested that I go to see this anti-aging doctor that he sends all his cancer patients to, because he figured I was low in something. And he was right. I was low in thyroid and testosterone and vitamin D3 and magnesium and TMI, right? But my doctor put me on her fabulous anti-aging regimen. I'm taking 28 pills a day. And it didn't feel natural, but I did it for 6 months because I knew, I wanted to fix myself. I didn't want to be exhausted. And I just didn't like it. So when I went to see my doctor for my 6-month follow-up, she says, "How you doing?" I said, "I hate taking that many pills." And that's when she told me about this. And I was like, well, that just makes sense. I mean, I had been thinking to myself, goodness gracious, I'm taking X, Y, Z, and ABC. There has to be something that they're all supposedly doing. I mean, they can't all be doing different things. They have to have something that they each do. And all these articles are being written about it in all these different magazines, because they all do something. I just didn't know what that thing was. And what I found out was it was reducing oxidative stress. And that made so much sense to me. And I was like wowed with the fire of, it's so fundamentally, foundational, and nobody knows about it. And it's going to be up to me. I'm just going to tell everybody. So I just told everybody everything. I told everybody all of the studies that I had read. I told everybody that they need to watch the news report, because I heard, just show the news report, show the news report, show the news report. Well, what I didn't hear was, come at it from the person's point of view. Don't tell them everything and make them watch a news report, which is what I was doing. Ask them how they're doing. Let them know. Anyway, there's a whole lot of learning that went on between 2012 and 2020. And to sum it all up, it's basically meet people where they are, see how you can serve them, ask if they're open to learning. And, that is all this is. It's forming relationships. And of course, I had relationships with these people that I was trying to run over, and tell. But they say, facts tell and stories sell. So, maybe tell your story, and then ask questions. Ask what people are doing. Hey, if you've got somebody that's interested in, health and wellness, you could say something like, I know you're into health and wellness, and I've always admired that about you, but I'm just curious, have you ever thought about what things have in common that go wrong with age, or just kind of start a conversation. It doesn't have to be, are you open to looking at something that I'm doing? But that can be one of your questions. The key is ask questions, because that starts a conversation. And then you can kind of listen to what their answers are, and then see how maybe you can be of service to them. So that's my story about how I found out about this. And the reason that I am just smitten with it is really the results that I've seen in the people that have been open and that, did decide to stay with it. I've just seen hundreds, if not thousands of awesome life changes, things that, people can now do I like to say X, Y, and Z for the first time in years, or no longer have to deal with A, B, and C, anymore for the first time in years. And it's just structure and function, improving left and right. And it's absolutely like people's lives have been they have been enhanced, but it's like a veil's been lifted. And that's how I felt when I started taking these products. And I was absolutely certain that everyone needs to know about it. But the only people that are going to know about it are the people that you connect with and determine that they have a need and that they're open. So that is absolutely key. Make a connection, as Carrie Dickey says, find a friend, find their pain, right? And then ask if they're open to learning about a way that's helping lots of people with just that. And of course, be compliant in everything you say. I love our new our new launch guide. It is absolutely awesome. I love that we can all fill it out with our own, like I send it to my people with my name and number. It doesn't matter if they're 85 levels deep, my name and number's on there. Now, maybe one day when I'm pro 30, I won't be able to do that. But right now, there's so many distractions that people have that I'm not inundated with questions all day long, believe it or not. Even though I have a very large team and I've given my number to everyone, it's maybe 3 questions a day, maybe 5 at the most. So I can handle that, right? So I do that. I let everyone have my number, and then of course they can put their enroller's name and number on there. The front page is really good because it helps you get to your teammates' why and helps them get to their why, 3 reasons why they joined LifeVantage. What do they want? Why do they want it? Lets them actually, write down their website so they have it, because people don't even realize they have a website when they sign up. Sometimes it's crazy. And then it encourages people to try all the products. You can't talk about the products. You can't be sure that something that we have in our arsenal will help someone unless you've actually tried it yourself or shared it with other people and seen the results. So it's really great that it encourages you to get familiar with the products and start getting skills and get signed up for our trainings, which I love that we have training every Saturday now. It's absolutely phenomenal. And tomorrow night we have our opportunity. Obviously this is the 13th of July. So the 14th we have Skip Campbell, and I think he's a great person to get people in front of, because he comes at it from such a unique way. And even if they've heard 3 or 4 or 5 presentations before, this one is gonna open their eyes to some unique things that they maybe haven't thought about. So I love that the guide lets people put in the dates where they can actually earn another $700 through the Paysetter program, and lets people kind of plug into our annual or average income statement to really look and see what level would make a difference in their lives, and gives them something to shoot for, right? I knew, I wanted to be pro 10, and I thought I was going to be pro 10 in 2 years. That wasn't really realistic with how much, time I had to devote. And so, it's always good to make sure that, when you're going over the I.T.T with your teammates, to make sure their goals align with the work that they're willing to. What do they want? What are they willing to give up to get that? And what are they willing to do? And how often are they willing to do that, and for how long? And that's going to really be the determining factor whether someone actually reaches their goal or not. And I love how we have such a duplicatable I.T.T system. And, it's the other name for it is add, tag, and message, because that can be a form of I.T.T. In fact, if your invite is to join a product education group, that can be the A and the I at the same time. But it can also be that you just send someone the video. And I love that Donnie and Marcy have made biohackingaging.com totally compliant site. I think it's imperative to have your people being invited to something that's very compliant. And biohackingaging.com, did I get that right? The website. That's where I'm going to start directing my people to, because I actually took a look at it. Is that okay? Can I send my people there? Okay. It's a beautiful site. So I'm really, really thankful that you guys made it. And then the business overview, I'm really looking forward to one that's kind of always our go-to, but I love that we have a different one every single week, and we have those in our brand folders that we can go and access and save your favorite ones. if you're techie, maybe you can even upload it to your own YouTube channel and have it to send to your people. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Just make sure that they get in front of all the information, because you may be thinking this person would be a perfect customer, but maybe they've got a why that you don't even know, and they're going to see all of the information. They can decide where they want to get in, get in where you fit in. And maybe some of these people are going to be distributors and you hadn't even had them on your radar for distributorship. And the third thing is so important for them to talk to someone and get their questions answered by someone who's not you. It doesn't matter if they're sideline friends, if they're upline. I typically don't generally use my team to validate unless I'm planning on placing somebody under them. But, sometimes your person on your team is the best person to talk to. You want to kind of match people up. If you've got a groomer of animals and another groomer of animals, or a horse chiropractor with a horse chiropractor, it's great to match people up so they can see. Now, if there's a book that I actually read a long time ago, 8 years ago, called Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. And he was a airplane glider, he's a glider pilot, I think. And he did that as a hobby. And he used to call people and say, I found a way for glider pilots, whatever he was, to make extra money. And so if you match people up when you're I.T.T for the team, you match people up with their interests, they can see themselves doing it. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's just a nice touch, medical professional to medical professional, nurse to nurse, whatever. But if you can't find someone, just someone who's not you. Okay, don't complicate it. And you don't really need a script. You just have to come from where your heart is with that person that you're talking to. And I do think it's so important to always have a working list of at least 25 names. Our I.T.T tracker has that list of 25 names. If you're really good, you're going to print up 4 or 5 copies of it so that you have way more than 25 names so you don't run out. Because sometimes, you get on a roll when you're doing 30 minutes or an hour of messaging, and not everyone's going to get back to you right away. So now you've sent out your messages to 25 people and you haven't heard back. It's nice to have more if you've allotted a specific amount of time to reaching out to people. And remember, when you do that, never ever send the same message over and over again, because you don't want to end up in Facebook jail. Super important not to do that. But the main thing is just really, really keep it simple. Start conversations with people. Ask how they're doing. Ask how they're coping with this new crazy environment we're in. Ask if if things are going well for them. Ask what they would change about their life if they could. And also, not everyone needs to start out with this, but as you go into your business long term, you're going to want to post curiosity posts. And also you're going to want to add value if you're on social media. So don't just be posting about our products or our business. You want to have funny posts, life posts, lifestyle posts, educational posts, entertainment posts, thought-provoking posts. So just be a good source of value for your social media audience. And then every once in a while have a curiosity post out there. Anytime someone comments on one of your curiosity posts, what do? You reach out to them and message them. Say, thank you so much for commenting on my post. What a great comment you made. How are things with you? Start that conversation. Always have a question in your messages with people so that there's something for them to do. If you say, thanks for commenting, maybe they can reply, you're welcome. And where's that going to go? That's not going to go anywhere. You want to say, thanks for commenting, oh my gosh, I just saw your profile about your dog. What kind of puppy is it? Ask questions, because questions lead to conversations. And as Fraser Brooks says, conversations lead to commissions. You have to be interested in people. You have to do that because people, we're all lonely now because we're isolated, right? Or if we're not lonely, we're lonelier than we were, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Gosh, how long has this been going on? Long time. So we definitely crave connection. And if someone's asking, you about yourself, you feel good about that person. That's a dopamine drip, right? And people want to do business with people that make them feel good, right? So you want to make people feel good. As Mary Kay Ash says, you know, pretend everyone has a sign on their forehead that says, make me feel important. Make your friends feel your value in them, feel your respect and love and honor in them, and they will respond in turn and kind of hear what you have to say, or at least answer your questions when you're asking about them. So I think that's super important to be interested in people and ask questions. So I think I'll pause there. I've been talking for about 15 minutes, I think, and I'd love to see if you have any questions.
You're amazing.
I do have a question, Doc, and I'd like to get your perspective on something that I am just curious about colleagues that you talk to and being in the medical field still. How important is it, in your opinion, of, say, the NRF1 product that we have out dealing with mitochondria? In 2017, Dr. Douglas Wallace, and some people may remember him from the early ABC primetime where he was actually interviewed as part of our broadcast. He won the equivalent of the Elliott Crescent Medal, which is now called the Benjamin Franklin Award, in 2017 for his study on mitochondria. We obviously have a product that deals with that. And just the year before that, Dr. Yoshinori Osumi won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for his work on autophagy, which obviously is heavily influenced by NAD. So in your perspective and in your field, do you see that your peers and people in the medical field are becoming more aware of these types of products that we work with, and as a result have an understanding where maybe 5-10 years ago they might have said, no, those MLM companies aren't for me? Do you think this is a game changer?
It is, and some people are becoming more and more aware. A lot of people are, but I will tell you that the overwhelming majority of doctors that are just doing their job, they're slugging in the trenches. They are not as quick to recognize the importance of this as you would think. It's more the kind of open-minded, that you could tell if a doctor is open-minded in or looking in or searching. They're not in a typical, typically they're not in an office. And if they are, it's going to take those questions that you ask them to draw that out, because they're really not teaching those things in most of the routine conferences yet. There certainly are in anti-aging medicine and functional medicine conferences massively. So those types of physicians are definitely onto it and open. But I generally don't try to educate other doctors unless I found that they have a need and they're open. It's just the human psyche. It's just the same thing. You go into a shoe store and you try on your shoes and you love them, and the clerk tells you they look nice, and it takes that third person walking by to tell you how cute the shoes look on you before you're gonna buy. And so me talking one-on-one with a colleague is not going to convince them. It really has to be them in an unsatisfied state, and then doing that I.T.T. thing, invite them to take a look, invite them to an overview and let them talk to somebody who's not me. So that's how they get to be open.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And you know what I love about this is there's so many more just normal, regular people than there are doctors. And so we just need to focus on them, right? And keeping it simple, like you said. I loved your ask questions. Just keep asking questions. In one of the trainings that we've been doing over the past couple of weeks, one of the things that was said is the person that asks the last question wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just keep asking those questions. Amazing, amazing. And I love how you went through, basically, guys, I don't know if you understand, but she just went through the whole launch guide with you. Do you see how simplistic that that form is, and being able to help you get your new people launched? Just follow that guide and just keep it as simple as possible, because once you start making it hard, it becomes a job for you and something the other person will never want to do. So we so appreciate you, Dr. Shaun. You are so amazing, and we just love your heart. I love, one of the things that I noticed, and I mentioned it earlier, was early on, like you said, you weren't being duplicatable. You weren't doing the things the way that you should. And you finally got to a point, you recognized it, you evaluated it, and you saw something different, and you decided to pivot and change. Can you just spend just a minute, and then we'll let you go, but explaining what that was like? Because I know there's a lot of people that are going to be watching this that are probably in that exact same spot of trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, never getting the results they want, but not really knowing what to do to get out of that.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question, because, you know, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was possible, you know, that success was inevitable. I just couldn't figure out how to crack the code. You know, I was like, well, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm showing the ABC primetime. I'm telling the story, you know, it's like, tell the story, show the ABC primetime. You know, I was doing all that. But yet it wasn't working. It's because I wasn't connecting with people where they were at. And of course, and I don't know how long it would have taken me without social media. It probably would have taken me a decade longer, to tell you the truth. But thank goodness along that time, you know, other people in the industry, other companies started this whole ATM system. And I remember one of our elite actually left our company to join another company because they had the simple ATM system. And she did a kind of an announcement video on her wall, like, I'm going to, you know, have something exciting to say later. And I'm like, ooh, you know, so I listened to it, and she's like, well, I just found this new company. They have this amazing system. It's so simple. Anybody can do it. It's duplicatable. And I'm thinking, well, why in the world would you go to another company to do what they're doing when you could just do that with the company that you're already in? I said, well, I'm going to do that. So I made a group, and I, you know, put all the information in the group, and I started inviting people. And I would, you know, how simple is it? You know, that was the aha moment to me, that you can have a group where all of the information is presented, and now in a compliant manner, and invite people to take a look and use their own brain to see if they want to do it, and follow up with them. And I was like, once I realized, you know, how beautiful the system was, and it just took, you know, obviously it attracted this leader at our company to the simple system. And I'm like, well, that's just a no-brainer. We just need to make a simple system for our products, and poof, voila. And that's what did it. And the other thing is, you know, we had some amazing leaders in Tara Wilson and Rachel Jackson. They joined our company a few years ago, and they started doing something very, very similar, and they started growing like wildfire. And I'm thinking, obviously, you know, this doctor thing that I'm doing, not the profession, but the doctor network marketer thing that I'm doing, where I'm telling all the information and, you know, force feeding it to people, that's not working. So I have this other side of me that's not a doctor. I was like, not a doctor before I was a doctor. So let me just tap into the not a doctor part of me and do what they're doing, you know, the ATM system that I heard this other leader. And I was like, well, I can do that. So for my team, I'm the doctor, but for my obviously I'm the Vitality MD, so I do have some of that, but I'm really not, that's not where I'm passionate in my business about. You know, I'm passionate about wellness, and I'm passionate about being a thought leader in wellness and vitality, just as a brand or for my team. But where I'm passionate in building my business is just connecting with people. That's it.
I love it.
Seriously.
It's so simple, seriously, because that's when I really saw, and I don't want to say that I didn't see you before, but I really saw you, because you were really willing to just go out there and find what was going to work for you, because it's not everything works for one person, right? You have to find your path, but then be committed to that path and being willing to do what it takes consistently for a long enough period of time. So beautiful answer to that question. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
And I hope you guys saw where those answers went. So even though the highest awards in medicine, like the Nobel Prize and the Benjamin Franklin Award, the recipients who received those, which has now been 3 and 4 years ago, are still considered fringe by their peers. So, and here's something to think about. Pioneers are never known as pioneers while they're pioneering. It's only after. So right now, we are all innovators or early adopters, but we will be recognized as pioneers at some point. So if you're talking to doctors, be ready for the rejection, just as you heard from Dr. McKee. Focus on the people that want this. And I'm not saying ignore doctors, don't. Some of them will get it, most of them won't yet. But because of those awards, once the word gets out, we will all be considered pioneers. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much, Dr. McKee, for how well you put that together on your transition and how somebody like you could see this and be one of those pioneers for now 8 years. It's been an incredible journey with you. Thank you so much for your gracing your time tonight with our team. And please tell your amazing husband we said hello.
Yes,
I will do that. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me and thank you for your leadership. So
Awesome. Give John a high five for us.
Most definitely. All right, everybody. Now that you've seen that amazing overview of our Launch Strong guide, make sure that you are utilizing it properly by inviting, right? Make sure you've got your database out there and you're tracking it and you're inviting to the amazing overviews that are available. So there's 2 tomorrow night. There's all kinds of recorded ones to utilize. And I know there's so many more. So the way that you start growing your business is inviting. Yes. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for being here.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Dr.
Thank
Shaun.
you.